Hello, it's time for another report video, this time about Furpoc's dance studio room. We got to do something special that I'd never really seen at any other con, have a dedicated space for dancers. The DancerFur community is a large subgroup in the fandom, and the Fursuit Dance Comp is the largest event at a con. But the most difficult part about competing in the dance events is finding the space to practice. I'm talking about having a location where it's okay to have your own music playing and a dance floor to be on, so having practice space that's not a random spot in the hall would be nice. I've also said in the past that ciphers and workshops are kinda slept on. Community-focused dancer events don't nearly get as much attention as competitive events. It's rare to see cons featuring more than 2 dance workshops, and ciphers are usually unofficial events. Both are very important to the health of the community. They allow us to share knowledge, bring in new people, and make dancing more than just competition. You know, if cons have spaces for other subgroups like gaming and art, why not have a dance studio space? The premise is pretty simple. The dance studio room would feature a lineup of dance workshops, cypher, and open practice times. The leadership at Furpoc was willing to invest in a dance floor, and a panel room was selected as a studio. Scheduling was handled by me and worked like this. Once the main dance events were scheduled in the ballrooms, I blocked off those corresponding times in the studio room to ensure that no dance-related events would conflict. I let the rest of the programming team know that these times can be filled by panels that don't involve dancing. I scheduled the studio inauguration, cypher, auditions, and feedback panel in the studio room since those need to occur at specific times during the weekend. Then I marked down open times in 90-minute chunks for workshops. 90 minutes was the default amount of time for workshops unless a host specifically requested for 60 minutes. Judges from Dance Comp and Furpoc Freestyle got first dibs on workshop slots if they wanted to host. They were providing a service to the convention and we must accommodate to their schedules. All other workshop slots were filled by workshop applications that could fill in the time. Open dance practice times were scheduled in 4-hour blocks, with most of them happening during the raves. Pretty much there was always a dancer event happening at the con, either in main events or in the studio room. So with all those plans, how did everything go? We ended up scheduling 9 dance workshops, with 6 of them hosted by judges. There were 4 open dance practice times and 1 cypher. We kicked off the weekend with an inauguration to celebrate the new room, and that was followed by the Battle of Ketchup and Mustard, the battle event that Roe and Keithy started organizing. This was the first time that FYNN was an official event on the con schedule, and I totally counted it as a workshop. It's an interactive learning environment where people get to learn more about battle events by participating in it. The workshops had great turnouts. Some people even said that the breaking and popping ones completely filled the room. The cypher also had a great turnout, but I did notice that the attendance dipped a little bit during the second hour. We did get a couple of noise complaints from panels next door, but this was due to the air wall splitting the room. Other panels also received noise complaints, and this was not exclusive to the dance studio room. Dancers also utilized the open practice times, mostly on Thursday and Friday. Almost nobody showed up to the practice time for Sunday morning, and a certain couple of dancers decided to host an unofficial event in the studio room during the Saturday practice time. I'm talking about you, Tommy and Gio. I'm calling y'all out. We literally messaged y'all saying that you should submit a panel application so you can host your event. You said nah, decided not to submit an app, but you hosted your dance event anyway. SMH my head. Anyway, there were a couple challenges with handling the open dance practices. Dance comp judges cannot be present in the studio room during practice times. We can't have judges see people's routines before the show. We also needed volunteers to act as room leads to be the point of contact if anything goes wrong. Example, if a dancer injured themselves during practice, the room lead would call con ops for first aid. A couple of dancers did step up to the cause, but I'm making sure that we fully establish room leads next year. We also had a dancer feedback panel after the dance comp, and it worked out really well. We used the one-on-one format where dancers can approach any of the judges for feedback. Everyone that was involved in the dance comp liked it, though I did notice that freestyle judges found it difficult to give feedback since it was on the previous day. So next year, the freestyle feedback will be separate from the dance comp feedback. The feedback panel was the last event in the dance studio room. We packed up the dance floor after closing ceremonies and closed the room. So, the dance studio room was such a huge success that they had me announce at closing ceremonies that it would be returning next year. Dancers knew that the room was something special, and it was by far the cleanest panel room by the end of the con. The biggest piece of feedback that we got is that the dance floor needs to be bigger, and we're already looking into ordering more panels for it. We also might be getting a studio mirror as well. We're also considering moving the room to a more secluded area so we wouldn't get any noise complaints. I already mentioned that Furpoc Freestyle will have its own feedback panel, so it's right after the event. Giving judges priority to host their own workshops worked, and it's a template that we would be using next year. I'm considering moving dance comp auditions elsewhere so we can open up more workshop slots. Having open practice times were good, but the Sunday morning slot might not be necessary since we already have dance comp rehearsals. I also may adjust things with the dance Cypher to keep people more engaged, most likely making it a shorter event, but also possibly introduce a competitive aspect to it. And I think that's pretty much it. A lot of dancers said that they felt really connected with the community at this con, and the dance studio room definitely helped with that. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see ya at MFF.